Hello, I'm Robert, and you're always welcome here at my busy little shop. On today's episode of What's on My Workbench, I've got two belts here that I'm going to tool. I'm going to tool it in the pattern I call the Oregon Trail. You've seen that before, so I won't spend a lot of time describing that, but I will show tooling that. I will be creating it on my two new colors here of Acada leather from Montana Leather. It comes in, I think there's 7 colors now. And I tell you what, there's 3 browns, and these 2 here are new. This is cognac, and this is dark brown. And recently I had a video, I think it'll release before the belt one, of creating journals, and you can see the tooling, the definition, and all that in there. But I wanted to show a couple of complete belts, partially because I noticed that Montana Leather has belt strips available in these colors. So if you want to give their leather a try, the pre-dyed veg tan, it tools, in my opinion, just as well as a natural veg tan. The casing maybe takes a little bit longer, and I'm talking like 20 seconds longer to get moisture into it, but it will finish out really nice. But I thought I'd bring it along kind of as a link to let you know that they have the belt strips, but I needed to create a couple of belts for inventory here, and I'm going to create it in the pattern called the Oregon Trail, and that is enough of a ramp up to this video. Appreciate you spending time with me in the shop. We'll get over here and take a look at this. I'm going to make this video less than 20 minutes. I'll put that in there. Maybe I'll be able to stay committed to that. Thanks for being with me in the shop today. To get started, I cased it, and I laid out a center line here, and I mark it with a wing divider in the damp leather, and I mark from both sides. This is hand cut, so you can see I have a little variation in the width here, but I'll keep it centered on the center line here. I'll start off here. This is a double axe head pattern, size number 2 from Barry King, and I put some clear tape on there and put a little indication mark the center on that tool. Through here, I'll just line up here on that pattern, that line in the center. Take your time through here with the tool. So I stay centered to the other end. It's really a nice stamping tool. The Barry King tools are heavily made. What's the chance I'm going to bend that? Next tool I'm going to use, and when I get there I'll give you the size, but it's here. Someone not long ago said, you know, you talk about Barry King being better, but you don't tell us how. Here's the Tandy tool that I was using originally. Very similar size, but it bent. This is like really thin here. I tried to straighten it up some because I had to finish a belt. The Barry King tool is meaty through here. I just don't see it bending. So that's a good example. And I realize that the Tandy tool is less than $10, and this tool here is probably $35. So maybe I'm not comparing apples to apples. What is it I hear people say, or they make comments, buy once, cry once. And I won't probably add any more moisture because this veiner is quite a bit smaller. And that was the number 2 on the double X head pattern. And this is the veiner, and I'll make sure, yeah, this is size 0. And it was $35 here on Barry King. If you don't have one of their catalogs, to me it's easier than their website. Reach out to them and they'll mail you a catalog. So now the next thing I do is I'll just center this over the vertical, well, horizontal, I guess it depends which way the belt is, but I'll put it over the pattern like that, and I'll go to a lighter weight to help me to control that stamp. And I'll work my way through here. And if you had one that was tipped a little bit or something, just let it go. There's no way to really fix that. And just work on your next one here of getting it centered up. And I'll just work my way down the belt here. The next thing to finish this pattern out, I'll use this size 0 mule's foot from Barry King, and I'm going to keep it really vertical. Typically, I'll have everything else done, and the reason why I say that is the leather will take the stamp pretty well or pretty quick, especially if it's somewhat heavily cased. So I kind of wait for it to get mostly dried out before I come through here with this, using my 16-ounce maul here. There's what the pattern is going to look like. Let me get this finished, and I'll come back when we're ready to do the edge work on this, and I'll show you how well it burnishes there. The oil had a good chance to soak in and migrate through the leather, and I am ready for the next step here. I usually create my stitch line before I round the edge. I've had this guide want to slip up on that rounded edge before, so I find this is more effective here. I use my stitching chisels and work my way around the belt here. And a lot of times I really do prefer to complete my hand stitching everything. This leather's thick enough, it shouldn't have any puckering along where the stitches are, but I find that if I cut my edge after the stitching, then there's not any way I would have that. So just out of habit, I try to do it the same way on all projects, even if it's not thin enough to where there's probably an issue like that. .5mm stitching chisels, and using my 10-tine chisel here. I'll be back here in just a little bit. I've been stitching along here. These are the two colors. This does have one coat of Reslin on there. Just timing wise, last night when I was finishing up, I thought, you know what, I'll get one coat on there and let it dry. I haven't done my edges yet, and when I finish the stitching, we'll go over here and do my edge work and burnish and such. And I don't want anybody to think that this made it easier in any way to do the work on the edge, so I created a sample belt over here that is going to be cut and burnished the same way. Well, when we get over there, you'll see. But I'm using, actually I'm using a new color here. This is some thread that I picked up not long ago. This is Tigeritza 0.08 thread in the color called Space Gray, which is a color that probably looks black unless you have it on black or next to black. It's a really dark gray. I bought it not sure what the color looked like, and it's darker than I thought, so I'll probably be using it up in places that I want a dark thread, much like black there. So let me finish up. I tell you what though, I do think this color is just fabulous. But let me finish the stitching, and I'll meet you over on the bench when we're ready to start working on these edges. And that does a couple things. It helps to define the stitch pattern, and it sets them down to where much of the thread is below the wear surface on the leather. So it really helps protect the threads. Let me finish tapping these down. We'll come back here in just a moment. Okay, next I'll grab my, I'm going to use number 3 and a number 2 edger. I use the number 2 on the back side of the fold back area. Everything else is a number 3. And this is the piece I think I mentioned earlier, but I ended up, just because of timing, and I had I was able to let it sit overnight and dry. I put my first coat of Resin on these and the material I'll make the keeper out of. But I wanted to show you how it burnishes, you know, without that Resin. I didn't want someone to think that that made it maybe easier to burnish or harder to burnish, whatever it may be. So this is obviously without any Resin on it. All I'm using is a bit of water here, dampen that edge, and a piece of denim. I don't work any compounds into the denim. Color on there is just from doing this burnishing on other leather. I use a different piece for natural, and I use another piece for black. Let's grab this one. This is the one that doesn't have anything done to it. And a little bit of water on here. And burnish. I want you to see how nicely that Akita leather burnishes. I didn't even sand the 2 layers on there. They're pretty well lined up though. I'll come back. I'll finish both of these. I'll go ahead and do my coat of Resin on there, and we'll come back. We'll take a look at the edges, and I'll go ahead and I'll put Resin on here so you can see what that looks like. Back in just a little bit. When I put the Resin on the unfinished leather, I treat it the same as I do any other, meaning that I work with it till I make sure it's even on there, there's no streaks. And you have to move kind of along quick. If you stop like here and then come back over it, you'll see that, at least in the beginning. I think over time of using the belt, that transition goes away. But I mean, I want it to look perfect. So I'll go from one end to the other, pretty liberal, quick coat on that. All right, the clear finish is dry. Check out these edges. Don't have much sunshine today. After the first coat on the edges dried, I gave them a quick sanding with some 800 grit sandpaper and put Resin just on the edges again. Here's the test sample piece. And I think it turned out really nice. I was talking about this being kind of close to my dark mahogany color. There it is there. There's a little bit of a difference. This definitely has a little more red to it, but I think that's a nice looking color a good option there. But I'm really liking this color here. I think it turned out really nice. But let's go ahead and we'll mount up the buckles on these and get these finished. Get these added into my inventory today, and I'll have them ready on my next sale. I'll add one of my stainless steel buckles here. Let's see how they look. First test fit here. And that one. Tell you what, I'm a fan. I think they look really good. Let's turn the camera around, we'll close up here. Well, there you go. I tell you what, I am a fan of these colors. I think that they look really nice. Both of them are nice colors. It went from a cut strip to a tooled pattern very quick. My tooling on each of these is probably 20 minutes a piece. All I needed to do is layer them up, tool them, and I was off to the races. So it does save some time, there's no doubt about it. Now, dyeing your own leather, it's not like that's a big task, but when you can pull this out and get it going that quick, I think that really can save some time. And if you check, I believe they've got these colors on the website, Montana Leather website, and if you wanted to give one a try, you could call up and order one there. And these are two new colors that they added. This is from a different video here, but these are the journal covers that I created. And this is the cognac, which is this color here. I tell you what, I'm just almost lost for words with that. I'm stuck between that one and the blue one for myself. I think the blue's really pretty as well. I don't know, I'll have to decide. But these are the colors that are available. There are actually 8 colors. So we've got the cognac here and the dark brown, which are the 2 new colors, these here. Then you've got the red, the turquoise, the blue, the black, and the dark brown. And then this inner color here is their regular brown, so it's a lighter version between the cognac and the dark brown. I think it's a nice selection of colors. Maybe it's right for you to get the smell, the dye out of your shop, and you know, maybe have a more pleasant environment, especially if you're in there working on the kitchen table there. Well, I tell you what, I think I need to go enter these into my inventory, and I think we've probably talked enough about it. I do appreciate you spending time with me in the shop today. Check and see if you're subscribed. If not, would you please consider subscribing and give me a thumbs up and give me a comment. Let me know what you think of these colors. Which one do you like the best? Well, I tell you what, I think they're really nice. If you do me a favor, maybe leave me a comment. Let me know which color you think is the best. And I think we'll wrap up there. I appreciate you spending time with me in the shop today. Please like, share, and subscribe. But more importantly, I do hope you have a great day.